To build a successful voiceover business, you have to move it from a linear model, voiceover marketing model, to a loop. And to make sure that things continue to work properly, you have to close that loop. If that sounds cryptic, don't worry, I will explain everything this morning, so hang around. My name's Bill DeWeese. I'm a professional voiceover talent and voiceover coach. And what I do is I work with students, some who are brand new, just getting into voiceover, some who have been doing it for a while but are plateauing and not making the progress that they want, need, or deserve. What I do is help them to become profitable or more profitable, i.e. make money or make more money in their voiceover business. And I'm so glad that you're here. By the way, make sure you take a moment to subscribe if you haven't. That way you get notifications when I go live. And of course, love it when you give the video a thumbs up and share it with all of your friends, especially your voiceover friends. Well, yesterday, I introduced the idea that there are really two primary components of a marketing system, and I'm calling it the marketing loop. And the reason I'm calling it a loop is because often people think of building a business, building their voiceover career as a linear progression. I'm at point A and I want to get to point B. And the initial point B that I need to get to is I need a client. So I want to get to point A to point B. And we're solely focused on getting that client. What do I have to do to get that job? What should I charge for that job? You know, how can I get from where I'm at to where I want to go? But once you do that one job, well, the job's over. The money gets spent, if not sooner, later. And then where are you at? Well, if you want to build a successful voiceover career, you need to turn that linear, that line, that A to B line, into a loop, a closed loop that continues to go round and round and round. Yesterday, we talked about the first part of that loop, of starting to create it, and that is making sure that the right people hear your demo. And the magic question that allows them to hear that demo is, are you currently accepting voiceover demos? It's not, will you pay me? Will you hire me to do this job? It's not, will you listen to my demo, please? It is, are you currently accepting voiceover demos? It is a benign, non-threatening question that makes it very easy for the prospective client to say, sure, which they, more times than not, they will, because most people who need voices are looking for good voices and want to make sure that they have a few in their back pocket that they can go to whenever they need them. So that's the first part of it. We talked about that in yesterday's video. Okay, now what? Let's assume that things work as planned. You get the job. You get paid. Great. That's awesome. Goal achieved. Job done. Well, that goal may have been achieved, but the job is not even close to being done because you're building a career. You're not out to get jobs. You're trying to build a career, and the way to do that is to make sure that that client that just hired you comes back to you again and again and again. Then you do that with the next client and the next client. Now, by the way, I've done this long enough and I understand I'm realistic enough to know that not all clients become repeat clients. Not even most clients become repeat clients. But a certain percentage of them will. And those are the people that will allow you to sleep well at night because you know that that revenue is going to continue to come in, that you're going to be able to pay your bills. You're going to be able to put food on your table for your family. All, pay for the car, put gas in the car, all of those kind of immediate survival kind of things. You'll sleep well at night because you know that money's coming in. And with time and continued work on your part, it will go even beyond just meeting your immediate needs. But it begins with the question, are you currently accepting voiceover demos? And then the loop begins when you get that client to come back. So let's talk about that for just a moment here this morning, okay? How do you do that? And by the way, I am enjoying a hot, steamy cup of Southern Pecan coffee. Now, this is a change. You guys know, who follow me on the channel and watch every morning. Almost every morning I have Michigan cherry coffee from Meyer. This Southern Pecan coffee, I've got to give a shout out. This is not sponsored in any way, shape, or form. But my wife and I discovered a coffee place in Lafayette, Indiana, several years back called Copper Moon. It became a favorite of ours when we would travel between the Chicago area to Ohio to visit our family, we would stop at Copper Moon because they had really good coffee, but also they have the most amazing breakfast sandwiches. Oh my gosh, so good. I would dream of going to Copper Moon. Well, I guess they now sell Copper Moon, the whole beans, and maybe they have for a while, I don't know, in the store. So we bought some whole bean Southern pecan coffee from Copper Moon. So for those of you who love coffee, might be something worth checking out. So we're going to close that marketing loop, okay? We've got the client. Now what do you want to do? You want them to come back. Customer service. I could never talk too much about customer service, and it's probably the thing that's thought about the least by people who are newer to the business, simply because you don't know it. You don't understand the dynamics yet, and that's perfectly understandable. But to build a business requires not that you're going out getting new work every day, although that's certainly, I mean, that's a part of it, but that's only part of it. And if that's the entirety of your marketing model, you're going to have a really hard time building and sustaining a business. But if you can get those clients, or at least a portion of the clients that hire you, to come back to you. I've got a small group of clients that use me almost every day. I've got a larger group of clients that use me once a week, once a month. I've got a larger group of clients who use me on occasion, maybe once or twice a year, or every couple of years. And then I have some who use me one time only. But my focus is making sure that I can get as many of those clients to come back as frequently as I can. It's done through customer service. And to do that, you have to think like, excuse me, you have to put on the glasses of the client that you're trying to serve. You have to look through their lens. You have to understand their life. What are they doing? What are they about? And how can you serve them? And I think the first thing you have to understand is their focus is not on you. Their focus is on their job. You are simply a means to help them get what they want. So foremost in my mind at all times is, how can I make my client look like a rock star? How can I make them look like a rock star to their clients or to their boss? Because usually voiceover is the last link of a production chain. This creation, this content that's being created, typically, not always, but typically includes a video component. There's maybe music to be selected. There's scripts that had to be written. It had to be storyboarded. There's a lot that goes into this. And voiceover is typically the last thing. And you know what that means. By the time the project gets to you, it's already running behind schedule. So more times than not, the project is needed ASAP. Rarely, and I know those of you who've been around for a while understand this, rarely are you going to hear from somebody who says, if you can get this to me in the next week or two, that'll be great. I mean, it happens, but it's rare. It's usually, how soon can you get this to me? And the sooner the better. And so by helping them, because this is a burden to them. This is a stress point to them. Because again, they need to please and serve their client or make their boss happy. And when you become their ally in that task, you become a rock star to them. When you make them a rock star to their client or boss, you become their rock star. They will thank you. They will appreciate you if you do a couple of things. Deliver on time, on the time that you agree on, and that you communicate regularly. Always stay in touch. Let them know what's going on. You don't need to be a nuisance, but you want to make sure that you never leave them wondering. If you ever sense that, maybe they haven't heard from you for a little while and they wonder where you're at in the process, just drop them an email and say, hey, just wanted to let you know that everything's going along as planned. You can expect delivery by such and such a time, such and such a day, such and such a time. And if you will follow those very few but very simple things to do. And let me add one more thing. Just make everything easy for them. Don't make it complicated for your client. Don't make it complicated for them to get in touch with you, to communicate with you, to get an answer from you, to pay you. Make it easy for them. And when you do that, when you grease all of those wheels, because believe me, they've got enough hassle in their life as it is. There's enough weighing them down. There's enough on their plate. They've got enough stuff to stress over. And if you can take that one thing and take that stress away for them, they will love you, and they will love you forever. And they show that love by coming back to you because they trust you. They know that you will deliver the goods. And once you do that a few times, and they really know that you consistently deliver, you've got a friend and a client for life. Yesterday, I was there's a client that I cultivated through Craigslist, which is one of the things I teach in my VoiceOver Blueprint program. By the way, there's a link in the description below. It's my VoiceOver training program. If you're not in there, I want you in there, okay? ASAP. Go into the link, check out, get all the details. But a couple of years ago, I cultivated them as a client. They're a production company in Chicago, and they pay me very well. Once a month, I do like a 1-hour session for which I'm paid very, very nicely. But the cool thing is that over these past few years, the client and I have become friends. I mean, not like we don't hang out together, play golf together, not that kind of thing. But he tells me about his family. He asks about mine, talks about, vacations, what's going on in the news. I mean, we just have, even when the job's done, like yesterday, I did the session, we stopped and we talked for a while just about life and stuff. And he's a very interesting person, and I think he finds the conversation with me interesting. And it's just fun. It becomes fun when you begin to take pressure off yourself financially by developing these ongoing business relationships. But then you get to know these people, and they become your friends. It's hard for me to explain, but you're going from this transactional thing where it's just doing work to where you're building a network of friends and allies that pay you to do the work that they need. And that's what I want for you. It's a joy for me to do it. I really enjoy recording voiceovers, but I also really enjoy the relationships that I develop with my regular clients. And I think you will as well. So close the loop, close the voiceover marketing loop. Yes, you need to start that loop by making sure you get your demo in front of the right person, by asking the right question, but then you close the loop by serving them well, which in turn causes them to come back to you again and again and again. And it's just an upward spiral from there.